All right, Sam, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Should I trademark my brand?
That's a really good question, Mike.
We get this a lot.
That is a good question.
We should talk about it.
We do get this a lot. I'll give you the answer right now. Here you go.
Let's do it.
It depends.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. I knew it.
Got him.
Oh, what kind of answer is that? You guys are leaving me hanging.
Well, Mike, let me answer your question with a question. Let's take accounting firms, for example. Is it worth trademarking your brand if your brand is Benson, Johnson, Terrier, and Caldwell, LLP? Would you trademark
dog names, right? It's
Huh?
4 dogs.
Yeah.
Terrier. I like Terrier.
Yeah.
Sorry for whoever the Terrier is out there at the accounting firm. I know there's one of you somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a good question. So first of all, I think you need to decide, what do you mean by trademark? Because there's a couple different things that people mean by that. And the second layer of thinking you need to go through is, what are we trademarking? Our name, our logo, our tagline, something else in our business? So let's kind of work our way through that. So first of all, trademarking can mean different things to different people. So a lot of people, when they think of trademarking, they think of the little TM or the R with the circle around it that they put next to their name or next to their logo, or maybe on their tagline, somewhere of these brand assets that they're kind of claiming as their own. And that's generally what a trademark means. It just means I'm making some claim that this is my mark for my trade, for my business, for a product that I have, a specific kind of service I have. The taglines are a little weird. We'll get back to that. But that's essentially what you're saying. So first thing you need to know is you can trademark by just putting the TM on things. So that's not a government process. There's no legal process you need to go through. Now, will it mean anything legally? It may or may not. There's a lot of nuance to that, and you might want to get a lawyer involved at some point. But you can literally just put a TM on anything.
So you're telling me, Mike, I can take my logo, throw it into Canva, get a little text block and put that little TM there, export it, start using that, and I don't have to go through a legal process.
There is no legal process to go through. You're just essentially telling the market, I think, as the owner, I think that this logo or this name is trademarkable. It is unique to me, and I'm putting my claim on it as unique to me and that others shouldn't use it. Now, will that stand up in a court case? Probably not. May or may not. There's lots of other things to consider, like, have other people used that name before in your industry? Do other people have logos that look like yours in your industry or outside of your industry? So that's where registering your trademark comes into play, and that's done through the U.S. Patent Office. And that's a process you go through. There's an online form, or you can do the snail mail thing. Maybe, I don't even know if they do that anymore. But you can basically make claims to the government, to the patent office, that say, I think my name is a trademark for my business. It should be exclusive to me within my industry. You can't claim it exclusively across any industry. That's not possible. And I would like you as the patent office to recognize that, which all they're doing is they have a process they go through to evaluate whether your logo or your name or whatever it is you're trademarking is actually unique. And if it is, and no one else has made the claim on it, they'll give you a slip of paper that just says, hey, it's registered with us as your trademark. Now, from now on, how you defend that trademark, how you go about keeping others from using it, how you go after other people who are using it, that's up to you. And that's a legal process that you have to go through. That's cease and desist letters. That's suing people.
Hmm.
That's like a whole nother can of worms. The government
Yeah.
doesn't do anything to actually protect your trademark. That's up to you.
Yeah.
All they're doing is saying the US Patent Office recognizes your trademark as yours and it's now registered with them.
And
That's all that
it
means.
makes for an easier court case for you, probably, right?
It does, with some exceptions, which is if you register your trademark. Let's say you register your name as your name, maybe you're Nike, right? Let's say you're Nike and you registered your trademark, your name, with the US Patent Office. And then 5 years later, someone else is using your name and they're in your industry, you think, right? And so you're like, hey, you can't do that. You send a cease and desist letter. They don't stop. So you take them to court, you sue them, and you get all the way to a court case. And they fire back and say, well, yes, you registered your name. Yes, you had it before us. But look at all these other companies who used your name in those 5 years. You didn't send any of them cease and desist letters, or at least they're going to ask you if you can prove it. Prove that you defended it. Prove that you defended your trademark that you registered. And if you can't prove that you defended it every time it popped up, that you're opening up a legal case for why they could maybe either continue to use your name or even counter sue and say, no, it's our name. You can't use it. And so I've seen that actually happen. I saw a rather large company with a name that was registered and protected and they defended it really well. But there were other businesses using similar names, not the same, to sell products on their platform, on the big brand's platform. And at some point, the big brand decided, you know what? We kind of want to get their names. We'd rather own those names. And they went after a bunch of them. And one of them in particular, the way they got that name from that smaller company was they said, yeah, you haven't defended it. And they literally countersued and stole their name, stole it. I mean, that's where this is just fascinating to me, is like the nuances of it legally. So if you go down the registered trademark route, you probably need a lawyer. And I'm not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. We can't give you legal advice, people. So you should do all of this at your own risk, make your own decisions, and probably get some legal advice if you're going to go down these roads. But know that if you register your trademark, you're making that claim with the government that this is ours, and they're saying, yes, it's yours. But then it's up to you to defend it. And if you don't defend it consistently, you're actually opening yourself up to someone being able to claim it as their own. So it just opens up another dimension of brand protection that I don't think a lot of business owners or leaders within businesses, maybe marketing leaders, think about. Sometimes it's like, oh, we just want to throw the R on it or go get it registered, and then not think like, oh, well, now I have to actually defend it.
Yeah.
So that's the trademarking process. So again, you can put a TM on anything, basically. You could go file and get your registered trademark, put the little R with the circle on it. There's also an S, and I don't even remember what that stands for, with the circle on it. You can go, I'm sure ChatGPT will tell you an answer that is maybe right, maybe wrong. Who knows?
I don't think I've seen the S with a circle. What is that?
I can't remember now.
Section?
I think there's an S out there. Anyway. Now, what you're trademarking also has its own nuances. So your logo, you need to differentiate between your logo and your name. Your logo is you trademarking the visual representation of your name. So let's say you have a name like Resound. Our logo is our name, right? Our logo is a stylized version of our name. We can trademark both the name itself, the word Resound, as the name of our company, representing, it's the trademark of our company, but we can also trademark the style of that logo that we have and say, hey, no one else can use this exact representation of our name in this style. We could do the same thing with we have like kind of an R mark. We could also trademark that. Um, I'm just going to keep using resound as our case study here. So we also have a tagline called "You Are Remarkable." Technically, we could try to trademark that. That gets a lot more difficult. So trademarking slogans is difficult if they do not stand for a specific product or service. So really, like the patent office, if you're going to go register your trademark, they want to know what product or service does this mark stand for, right? Again, it's a mark for your trade. So when you just have like a slogan like, I don't know, superior service, that's not really technically a trademarkable slogan because it doesn't stand for a product or a specific service line that you might offer. A lot of brands that do end up getting registered trademarks for their slogans are often so big and they've done so much advertising with that slogan that the patent office is like, well, it's basically ubiquitous with your name. So like Nike's Just Do It. Just Do It doesn't stand for any of their products. It doesn't stand for anything other than an ethos at Nike and what they want their customers to have, like the ethos they want their customers to have, but it's registered. And it's because they've used it in like so much advertising that it's now recognized as like, it's basically representative of Nike. Yep. So it's almost like another name, sort of, kind of. But that's the other thing you could do. You could name a product or you could name a service that you offer and give it a specific name. So like Resound has a service, or it's really a framework that we embed in a lot of our services. It's a methodology for branding that we call Remarkabrand. It's what this channel is named after. Yep. We could trademark that because it stands for a particular methodology or process. So you could do that with a process, which is like a service, or you could do that with a product. Yep. So anyway, that's like kind of the trademarking 101 class we just did here.
It seems like, Mike, the no-brainer would be if you really think you have something special, whether it's your logo, it's your brand name, maybe it's a really unique tagline, put the TM on it. Tell your designer, tell your marketing director, hey, let's start working on getting the TM on all of our stuff.
Yep.
Why not? Why not?
It's visually cluttering. So like take that into account. You need to use it everywhere you use that thing. So just be aware of what you're doing when you do that. Also know that it doesn't mean a whole lot. The TM alone, and I'm giving you kind of the devil's advocate here, but like the TM alone doesn't really do anything for you. It's not going to like help you a whole lot if you got into a lawsuit over the usage of your name or your logo. What I do think it does is it mentally shows people that, or just maybe not mentally, but like it shows people that you take your brand seriously and that you really do see it as yours.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you get people used, I don't know if they still do, but I'm sure some do. People used to get those like embossing stampers for their books, right? You like buy the book and then you get the little like embossing stamper that puts your initials or your name into the cover or into the first page. And it kind of feels cool because it's, raised lettering and all that stuff. But that's kind of how it feels to me, is like, does that make your book like exclusively yours? Could someone not steal it or not borrow it because it's got it embossed on there? No, but maybe a little less likely, right? If someone borrows it, they're a little more likely to be like, I should probably give that back because it's got your name in it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it, is like, yeah, it's kind of like you just saying, hey, it's mine, and hands off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that people will listen to you.
I think it's a great idea, Mike. If you have, let's say, your service-based business, you've developed, your niche, and you've got a very unique process that maybe you can kind of turn into a branded service or a branded, like you said, with our Remarkabrand, it's kind of like, yeah, that is our process for how we do brand and really how we do marketing as well. If you can do that with your service, that's powerful. That should be trademarked, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because you've created something really difficult to create, which is a branded service that probably a lot of other people do, but you figured out how to build something that's brandable, almost like a product that sits on a shelf, right? That's the hard thing with services. You know, bug guy comes over, there's 1,000 other guys that can spray for bugs. Somehow this guy's figured out his branded way of and methodology of spraying for bugs, and he's trademarked it. And it's like, yeah, that's the power of Kleenex,
Yep.
right? Jacuzzi, Frisbee. Those
Yep.
are not things, those are brand names
Yep.
that they have created and now become kind of the standard for that product. So
yeah, and it's certainly easier with products, you know, physical products, to some degree, digital products. It's a little harder with services because you really do have to have a truly unique process and methodology. But, you know, there's plenty of people out there that have done those things. I think, you know, a lot of people in our world are familiar with Entrepreneur Operating System, right? EOS. That's trademarked. And it's a system of tools, some of which are unique, some of which are probably not quite unique to that system. And it's interesting, if you flip through the book that outlines the system, the book called Traction, if you go look at that book, you'll see there's certain tools outlined within the system that have a TM on them, and then others don't. And I know, because of being a brand guy and knowing about trademarking, the reason it's not on every tool is because some of those tools are borrowed or they're kind of open sourced tools that this group can't claim as their own. And so they're not exclusive to them. So you do need to be careful. Don't put TM on stuff that isn't exclusively yours. If you're borrowing processes, you're borrowing tools in your process, know that you can TM your stuff, but you can't TM other people's things. Or even things that are considered kind of public domain or common knowledge, right? So the idea, like, so here's a great example. One of the tools in Traction within that book for the entrepreneurial operating system is core values. Core values does not have a TM on it in their book, because that's kind of a ubiquitous thing. Like, most companies have core values. They have some process to take you through it. And if you use that name, you really can't claim it as your own because lots of people use it already. And so you can't put like TM on that. So that, I don't know, hopefully that's helpful for people. It gives you a little bit of an example how you can do that. Well, this has been fun, Sam. Let's do it again.
All right, I'll do it again. Just one more time. We'll see how the next one goes.